be the bearer of bad news, but humanity is officially 1 second closer to world annihilation. Oh. That's the official finding of scientists in Chicago who've moved their hands on the Doomsday clock one step closer to midnight. It's now got 89 seconds to go, so one step closer than last year. It's the closest the clock has ever been to midnight in its 78-year history. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which decides where the hands are set, pointed to the Russia-Ukraine war and ongoing conflicts in the Middle East.
Thank you all for being here today. It is the determination of the Science and Security Board of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists that the world has not made sufficient progress on existential risks threatening all of humanity. We thus move the clock forward. In setting the clock closer to midnight, we send a stark signal. Because the world is already perilously close to the precipice, any move towards midnight should be taken as an indication of extreme danger and an unmistakable warning. Every second of delay in reversing course increases the probability of global disaster. It is now 89 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight. Joining us to make this announcement are members of the Science and Security Board, Herb Lynn, Suzette McKinney, Robert Sokolow, and Manpreet Sethi, joining from India. We also welcome special guest Juan Manuel Santos, the former President of Colombia, Nobel Peace Laureate, and the Chair of the Elders. My name is Daniel Holtz, and I am the Chair of the Science and Security Board of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. We set the clock closer to midnight because we do not see sufficient positive progress on the global challenges we face, including nuclear risk, climate change, biological threats, and advances in disruptive technologies. The countries that possess nuclear weapons are increasing the size and role of their arsenals, investing hundreds of billions of dollars in weapons that can destroy civilization many times over. Meanwhile, arms control treaties are in tatters, and there are active conflicts involving nuclear powers. The world's attempts to deal with climate change remain inadequate, as most governments fail to enact the financing and policy initiatives necessary to halt global warming. 2023 was the hottest year on record, by far, and 2024 was even hotter. Advances in an array of disruptive technologies, including biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and in space, have far outpaced policy, regulation, and a thorough understanding of their consequences. All of these dangers are greatly exacerbated by a potent threat multiplier: the spread of misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories that degrade the communication ecosystem and increasingly blur the line between truth and falsehood. A statement summarizing these concerns is now available at thebulletin.org. All of us need to help raise the alarm. Our fervent hope is that our political, civic, cultural, and business leaders take bold action to reduce these threats and turn back the hands of the doomsday clock. Before we turn to questions from the press, I'd like to ask the former President of Colombia, Nobel Peace Laureate, and current Chair of the Elders, Juan Manuel Santos, to share his perspective on the time of the doomsday clock.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This clock is a stark diagnosis of our reality. At 89 seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock stands closer to catastrophe than at any moment in its history. The clock speaks to the existential threats that confront us and the need for unity and bold leadership to turn back its hands. In recalling the words of Nelson Mandela, the founder of the elders, the most powerful weapon in the world is to sit down and talk. The solutions we need to confront the existential threats we face are all connected by a simple truth. We can only succeed if we act as one.